Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube video. My name is Paul and I love working with these lasers, although they can be quite frustrating. So I decided that I would make a YouTube video channel to help teach others about how to use the laser. Plus, I figured y'all could probably teach me a little bit as well. So I've been doing this for about 9 months now and I've learned quite a bit. Pretty good at solving some of the problems. But what I was seeing is that there are people on here that have these that just really don't want to help others learn how to use it. And there's some good groups out there that are helpful, but sometimes it's hard to find that information. So if you'll follow this channel and go ahead and make some comments about different videos you'd like to see, and I'll be glad to try to make some up and show them and try to help us all get going better using our lasers. Again, thanks for watching. Here's my rotary setup, the jig that I've made, and I want to show you why it's so important. So under here I have actually put holes that will hold the feet on the bottom of this rotary setup. This way it keeps it always in the same spot whenever I put it back into the machine. Here it is in the machine, and as you can see, I've got the tolerances on this very tight. There's very little wiggle room, so it's always in the same exact spot every time that I go to run a cup. Something that's important is you need to know the size of these wheels. So I can get you a set here. Check it, we're at 265, 266 roughly. Next we'll measure the cup and get it to the right size. It's 344. And here we have my process on how I will engrave cups. First thing I'm going to do is make sure that it's actually level. So I'll get a level and check that. If it's not, I'll adjust it. As you can tell, it's a little bit off. I want to slightly tilt forward because I don't want the cup coming off of the rotary. And after checking for level, what I want to check for is the focal distance. And I'm using a 2.5 inch lens, and I've got this pre-made spacer. So what we want is very little space, but you do want some so that it's not completely focused directly onto the cup. If you do, then you're going to get too thin of a line, but with this one, the way the 2.5 is set up, I just put just a little bit in there and they come out perfectly every time. So I'm using light burn, and you may be using something different, but it should be pretty similar in the way that they operate. Before you begin all of this, you need to make sure that your rotary is set up correctly, and you'll verify the information within the box and make sure that it all matches and is correct. I have had it in times that it will change on its own, so it's good to verify each time that that is correct. It's also important to know the object diameter, even though this does not affect the way the machine operates, but it will calculate the circumference for you, which is important to verify everything is correct. So you'll take that circumference number and put that into the distance under the Move tab. Once you've got the distance set, you'll go over to the machine, and I use a piece of tape with a dot on it, and I put that directly under the pointer laser. And then I'll return back to the computer and push the up arrow. What should happen is it should rotate all the way around and come right back almost exactly on that dot. If it doesn't, then something's not set correctly. If it's way off, you have something really set incorrectly. Or sometimes I've noticed that it won't rotate all the way because the machine thinks it's at the end of the space that's available. So if that's the case, you may have to actually rotate further, either up or down until it maxes out, and then put the dot and realign it, and then run it again, and it should end up in that same spot. So that's a couple little things that I've noticed about trying to get cups started. Again, if something's not correct, then you've got something off within the system. Either your steps or your roller diameter is not correct. Once I verify that everything's correct, I want to also double check my two rectangles on the template to make sure that they are the same size as the distance is. Again, making sure everything matches up, but as long as you've saved it correctly, that should always stay the same. Next, I will move the laser to the different locations on the cup using the move function of the laser. I want to verify that the cup is correctly lined up. Once I've imported the file, I will make sure that it is set for fill. I make sure that it's set for 210 millimeters per second at 25%. And then I will adjust the image so that it fits within the rectangle correctly. Once I've got it set to what I believe to be correct, I will take and move again the laser head to make sure that it is centered on the cup that I want. And there's one thing to note about cups is they are round, and that image will sometimes be distorted, especially if you've got circles. So I always add somewhere around 2 to 3 and sometimes even 4% depending on what the image is, because I want that to come out correctly. Then we'll go ahead and verify that it is filling it correctly, and then go ahead and start the process. Once it's completed, then I'll go ahead and remove it out. It will leave some residue on the cup, so I'll take it over and clean it with some LA Awesome and wipe it off, and then run it under some water. A lot of people will use magic erasers. Those work great. I've found that just spraying it using a microfiber towel works just as good. So clean it up and then take it over the sink and wash it off, and there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video today about how to laser engrave tumblers, and maybe there's some tips that can help you be more successful when you're trying to do this. Again, that jig is really important, especially if you're going to be making, one or two here and there. If you have that jig, it's going to really save you a lot of time, especially with that template set up. So again, hopefully that'll help you out. Make sure that you like and subscribe to these videos, and make some comments about what you'd like to see, and I'll be glad to put some out. I know I'm going to have one coming out pretty soon about how to align the mirrors. I see a lot of people struggling with that, and you've got to have it done correctly or it's not going to work right. You're going to get really poor results. So make sure that you're subscribing and following, and the next one I'll put out will be how to get these mirrors aligned. So again, thanks for watching. Y'all stay safe.